Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle. And take that easiness with a grain of salt because it's considered easy by the people on the Logic Masters Germany forum, and there's a lot of really smart people there. Today's puzzle is called There's a 4 in the corner, instead of there being a 3 in the corner, by MD88 Keys, 88 Keys, which is piano reference. I'm not sure what the MD is. Doctor? Doctor 88 Keys. Doctor Piano? Anyways, here are the rules. Standard Sudoku rules apply, which means fill the grid with the digits 1 through 9 without repeats in any row, column, or box. We also have Renban lines, or as he calls a purple line. Digits along a purple line form a set of consecutive digits in any order. So since these are only 8 digits, it has to be 1 through 8 or 2 through 9, because if you don't have those, they would not be consecutive. You cannot have repeats on this Renban line. We also have German whisper lines, which are the green lines, where neighboring adjacent digits along a green line have a difference of at least 5. So, for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be 8 or 9, because 8 or 9 are the only digits which are 5 or more away from 3. That's how German whisper lines. We also have Dutch whisper lines, where neighboring adjacent digits along an orange line must have a difference of at least 4. So, for example, if this were 3, this would have to be 7, 8, or 9, instead of just 8 or 9 along a green German whisper line, because Dutch whisper lines have a difference of at least 4 instead of 5. We also have region sum lines, which are blue lines, where box borders divide a blue line into segments which have the same sum. Different lines may have different sums. So, for example, on this blue line, these 2 digits must equal the same as these 3 digits, which must equal the same as these 2 digits. Same here. These 2 digits must equal the same as these 3 digits, which must equal the same as these 2 digits. And that's how region sum lines work. And then we finally have Kropke dots, where digits in cells joined by a black dot are in a 1:2 ratio. That is, one digit will be double the other. Not all dots are given. So, for example, if this were a 4, this would have to be a 2 or an 8 to maintain the 1:2 ratio between them. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the corner, in the description. I was looking in that there's a 4 in the corner, and I just thought said corner instead of description. Anyways, with that, I'm going to get started. Let's go. The first thing I see here is there's a 1:2 ratio on this Dutch whisper line, and the difference between these 2 digits must be at least 4. Well, the only difference that would work between 2 digits which have a 1:2 ratio is 4 and 8. So this must be 4, 8. The 4 must be next to a 9, so one of these has to be a 9. The 8 can be next to 1, 2, or 3. So this could be 1, 2, 3, or 9, but this is 1, 2, 3, or 9. Okay, so this cannot be 4 and 8 here. Again, this has to be 1 through 8 or 2 through 9. Either way, this is 1 or 9. That means this is at most 10 if it's a 1. Is that possible? That would mean this is 10. This is 10. So I think there has to be a 9 in one of these, right? Can it ever be 9? If this is 9, this is 9, and this is 9, that would mean this is 1 and 8. This would have to be 2, 3, 4, and that would eliminate all possibilities for these 2 cells adding up to 9. So there does have to be a 9 in one of these 2 cells. So if it's 10 here, this would have to be 2, 3, 5. And this would be 4 and 6, and therefore this would be 7, 8, and 7, 8, and that could work. Um, this digit is, we're gonna mark it as just an arbitrary color. Let's make it this color, and then we'll make these colors pink, I guess. These will be yellow. These are pink. These are yellow. These are pink. We have yellow, 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 and these are pink and pink. Okay. These digits must be between two unique digits, so all the pink digits are 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. So are the middle yellow digits, but the corner yellow digits don't have to be. So these have to be 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, or 9. This can't be 8. This can't be 8 because of the 4, 8 pair in the column. Nine has to be one of these two, so this can never be 9 here. That doesn't have to be. These three digits add up to essentially a digit that must be 3 times something. And it has to be at least 3 times 10. Oh, this is a 1 to 2 ratio. If this is 1, 9, it doesn't work because there's no 2, 3, 5 here. Right, 2, 3, 5 would have to be here, but none of them are in a 1 to 2 ratio with each other. Right, 2 can only be in a 1 to 2 ratio with 1 and 4, 3 can be in a 1 to 2 ratio with 6, and 5 can't be in a 1 to 2 ratio with any other digit. So this cannot be 1, this has to be 9, which means this cannot be 1. If this is 9 and 2, that doesn't work because it doesn't add up to 11 here. Because you would have to have 1, 4, and 6 as, or 1, 3, and 7, and none of those are in a 1 to 2 ratio with each other. 9 and 3 adds up to 12. You could have 2, 4, and 6, so that could work. So this could be 3, and that would be 2, 4, and this would be 6. And this would be 5, 7, so it's possible. What about 9 and 4? If this is 9 and 4, you have to add up to 13. 3, 6, and that would also have to be 4, so that's not possible there. You can't have 1, 2 add up to 9 and 4. Because that's or only 3 plus 10 adding up to 13. So 9 and 4 does not work because if you have 9 and 4, you have to have there's no 4, 8 pair. 3, 6 doesn't work because you must add up with 4 to add up to 13, and 1 and 2 doesn't work. What about 9 and 5? If this is 9 and 5, this has to be 6 and 8. Can the other 3 digits add up to 14? No. Well, 6, 8, 9, 5. You could technically have 4, 3, and 7, but none of those are in a 1 to 2 ratio, so that doesn't work. And if you had 9, 6, and this is 7, 8, which is the only other possibility, the highest 3 digits would be 3, 4, and 5, adding up to 12, which doesn't add up to 15. So this has to be 9 and 3. This is 2 and 4. This is 6. This is 5 and 7 here. This cannot be 2 here. This can't be 4 because of a 4, 8 pair, so this must be 2, which makes this a 4. This can't be 2 then. So this is either 1, 3, or 7, 9 here, and this cannot be 3 here. Okay. So it has to be 1 and 8 on the rest of the cells in row 8. If the lows are the pinks, both of these have to be 1 and 3. Okay. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio. It could be 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8. Those are all work. And this could be 3 as long as this is 6. Six cannot be here, so 6 has to be one of these two. 6 also has to be one of these two, which means this cannot be 3, 6. So this is either 1, 2, 4, 8. This can't be 4, so this can't be 8. This can't be 2. Okay. 5 has to be one of these 3 digits. 5 cannot be on a German whisper line. Where is the 5 in row 7? It can't be here because of this 5. Can't be on the German whisper line. It can't be here because it can't be in a 1 to 2 ratio. So therefore, this is a 5 here. Where's the 5 in box 2? Sorry, box 4. It has to be here. Therefore, in box 1, it has to be one of those two. In box 3, where's the 5? It cannot be any of these because none of these can be 5. Or sorry, one of these has to be 5, and the 5 in box 1 has to be one of those two, which is in row 1s and 2. This is in row 1 and 2 for this 5. So the rest of row 1 and 2 cannot contain a 5. So one of these two is a 5. One of these 6 has to be a 5. So the 5 in box 3 has to be in columns 8 and 9. So does the 5 in box 6, which means there cannot be a 5 in the rest of box in column 8 and 9. So this can't be 5. This must be a 7, which makes that a 5. Hmm. Let's see. So, well, it could be 1, 2, or 4, 8. We're not sure. If this is 1, 2, that would mean that the yellows would have to be low. Right? If this is 1, 2, that means the yellows would be lows because there could only be one low here out of these 3. So this would be 3, this would be 9, this would be 8, 9. 3, this would be 9, and this would be 8. Which would make this 7. This would have to be 1. So if this is 1, 2, only one of these could be 3. And so these can't be low. So this would have to be the low. So if this is 1, 2, this is 3. That means this is also low. It would have to be 1. So this would have to be 2, which would make this 1. So if that's the case, then this would be 1 or 3, which means it would be with 8. This would be 4, which would mean that this would have to be 9, which it would be. Ah, so either this is 8. Well, that doesn't really tell us much. If this is 4 and 8, what can that be then? This is at least 12. If you have 4, 8, and 1, that's 13 at minimum. 4, 8, and 1 requires 4, 9, which is not allowed, 5, 8, which is not allowed, and 6, 7 for two-digit numbers. So this cannot be 4, 8 with 1. If you tried 4, 8 with 2, the problem is that that adds up to 14, which requires 5, 9, or 6, 8, 6, 8 as two-digit numbers adding up to it, which we already have an 8, so that's not allowed. And if you 4, 8, and 3, which is the last one you can have, which adds up to 15, the only two pairs of two-digit numbers that can add up to it is 6, 9, and 7, 8, which you already have an 8. So it cannot be 4, 2, 4, 8. This has to be 2 and 1, which means this cannot be 1 and 2. So this does have to be 3. Therefore, all the yellows are lows. And all the pinks are highs, because we only have one low available in these three cells. So this must be 3. This is 9. This is 8. This must be 7. This has to be 1, because it's the only low remaining. This can't be 1, 2, or 3, which makes that 9. Which makes this 4, which makes that 8. Therefore, this is not 9, it's 1 or 3. This is 1, it could be with, it has to be, cannot be 7 or 8, it has to be 9 here. So this is 7, which means this has to be 1 or 2, but it cannot be 1. So this must be 2. This can't be 1 or 2, this is a high, cannot be 9. This can't be, this could be anything. This can't be 2, and it's a low, so it must be 1. This then is 3 or 4, but it can't be 3, so this is a 4, which forces this to be 9. This can't be 9 or 1, 2, and 3. This can't be 9 or 1, 2, and 3. We have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair in column, in row 6, which eliminates 7 and 8 in the rest of the row. This can't be 8. This can't be 1 or 2. So this is 4, 6, or 8. This is 3 or 4. It cannot be 4 because it can't be next to a 9. So this must be 3, which makes this 8, which makes that 7. This can't be 1 or 3. It has to be 2 for a low digit. This can't be 2, 3, or 4, so this is 1. This is 4, 6, or 8. This can't be 4. If it's 4, it has to be in 1-2 ratio with 2. 1 can't be here. 8 can't be here because it needs to be in a 1-2 ratio with 2 or 3. 1 or 3 can be next to 6, 7, 8, or 9. But it cannot be 7, 8, or 9 here. So this must be a 6, which makes this a 1. This can't be 6. 5 cannot be here because it would have to be next to a 1 and a 9, and that's not allowed. So this must be a 5 here because 5 can never be here then. This has to be 2 or 3. This has to be 7. 2 or 3 must be next to 7, which is next to 2 or 3. What are the remaining, okay, so we have what are the remaining digits in row 6? It has to be 1, 5, and 6 here. This can't be 1, though. This can't be 5, so this is 6, which makes this a 1, 5 pair here. What about the rest of row 4? We have 3, 3, 5, and 6. This cannot be 6 because of that 6, so this is 3 or 5. This is 3, 5, or 6. The remaining digits in column 5 have to be 7 and 8. And the remaining digits in column, this can't be 7 though, it must be 8 because it can't be 7 here. Therefore this must be 7. The remaining digits in column 6 are 4 and 5, but this can't be 4, so this must be 5, which makes this a 4. This must be a 3, so neither of these can be 3. If this added to Hold up, that doesn't add up correctly. 1, 2, and 6 only adds up to 9. And you can have 3, 6, and 4, 5, but that doesn't work. Huh. That's a little problematic. Huh. That's not good. This has to be 2. This has to be 3 because of the Dutch whisper lines. Maybe this, I don't know, is something different. This isn't good. 8 does have to be one of these two, so therefore this is 1. That makes that 5, which makes that 1. This is a 2, which makes that 4. This is 8. This all's kosher except for this sum. This doesn't add up. 1, 2, and 5 have to have 2-digit sums that add up to 8, which doesn't work. This can't be 5. It's 5, 6, and 8. This can't be. This is 5 or 8. This has to be 6. And we have 1 and 7 here. But this doesn't make any sense. Right? 1, 2. This doesn't add up. Oh, I forgot about 2 and 4. Okay. That's the reason why. So, whoops. We made a major mistake there. That was actually a really bad mistake. I forgot about 2 and 4. I should have been thinking, though, about, like, what that implied, right? Right. So what is the implication of 1 and 2? If you have 1 and 2, so this cannot be 1. This cannot be 2, because 1 and 4 can only be in a 1 to 2 ratio with 2, or 8. So we tried 4 and 8, that doesn't work. We tried 1 and 2, but we didn't really try it. If we have 1 and 2, again, you have to have 3, 9, and 8 here. This could be 1, 2, 5, which adds up to 8, but that eliminates 1, 7, 2, 6, and 3, 5, so there's no 2-digit numbers that add up to it. If you have 1, 2, 6, same problem. You eliminate 1, 8, 2, 7, and 3, 6, which leaves only 4, 5 as a possible pair adding up to it, which we need 2 pairs adding up to it. 1, 2, 7 leaves you 10, but that eliminates 1, 9, 2, 8, and 3, 7 as possible pairs, and leaves you only 4 and 6. So this can never be 1, 2. It can't be 4, 8. It has to be 2 and 4. Oops. That's a pretty big mistake. Anyways, this can't be 2. This can't be 2. 4 is here. This is 2 and 4. You can't have 1 here. You can't have 1 because 7 would be not have 2 pairs that add up to it. You can't have 3 because then you would only leaves you with the pair 1, 8 adding up to 9. Can you have 5? If you have 5, that eliminates 2, 9, 4, 7, and 5, 6. So you can't have 2 sets of pairs adding up to that. Probably 2, 4, and 6 works again. 2, 4, and 6 gives you 3, 9 again, and 5, 7. So 3, 9, and 5, 7, which would be 5, 7 here. This would be 3, 9 as a possibility. This could be 5 and 7. So that could work. 2, 4, and 7 add up to 13, but the possible pairs are 4, 9, 4, 9, and 6, 7 are eliminated, which only leaves you 1, which is 5, 8. 2, 4, and 8 adds up to 14, which gives you the pairs 5, 9, and 6, 8, but 6, 8 is already taken. And then 2, 4, and 9 add up to 15, which unfortunately still has the problem of, uh, yeah, 2, 4, and 9 add up to 15, which removes the pair 6, 9 as possibility, which means only one pair is possible. So this also has to be 6. Okay, well, there you go. So this is 6, this has to be 6. This is then a 1, 8, 1, 8 pair. Well, in column 1, we have a 1, 8, 1, 8 pair, which eliminates 1 and 8 from the rest of the column. So this cannot be 1 or 8. This has to be either 2, 4 as a pair or 3 and 6. Okay. Can this ever be 9? If this were 9, the problem is if the yellows are highs, you would have to have 6, 7, and 8. I guess that is possible, actually. That is actually possible. Um, what else? Oh, this can't be 5 because we know one of these two is 5. This has to be a 5 here. Because there's no other place for the 5 in box 2, so this can't be a 5, which forces this to be 5 and 7. Which means this cannot be 5 or 7. It's 3 or 9 pair here. Um, hmm. Therefore, since we have 3 or 9 here, none of these can actually be a... well, none of these can be a 3. Because if any of these are 3, they would have to be in between 8 and 9. But that would eliminate all possibilities for that cell here. So this cannot be 3. One of these could actually be a 3 here, right? Uh... Okay. This can't be 2. So this actually could still, the yellow actually could still be high. This can't be 2. Hmm. That's interesting. So either 4 is one of these two, or 4 is here, or 4 is here, right? Or 6 is one of these two, one of these 3, one of these 3, and one of these 3. Or 4 could be in 4 and 6 could be in both potentially. Right? We just don't know. Hmm. So this can be 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. That doesn't really tell us much. Hmm. So 2 has to be one of these 3 digits here. So if this is a low, it has to be, well, it doesn't have to be 4. If this is a low, it's 1, 2, or 4. 6, 7, 8 also works. 4, 6, 7, 8. This, however, cannot be 7. This could be 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. But that's pretty broad. Okay, so this can never be 9. If these 3 are high, I guess it could be. Hold up, this could be 9 if this is a 3. Yeah, so that works. Hmm. This is Fistimathel's ring. I just realized that. Um, in Fistimathel's ring, then, we have 2 1s and 2 8s at least, 2 7s, and a 9 at least. Hmm. This is 1, 2. We have 8 pinks and oh, it's 8 pinks and 8 yellows. Either way. Hmm. That's not helpful. Hmm. This could be a 9. I'm not sure why I looked up the 9 there. Uh, let's see. There's a 4 in the corner. Is there a 4 in the corner? Hmm. Ah, if this is 4, both of these have to be 9. which would eliminate 9s here and here, but we know one of these has to be a 9 because 4 can only be next to an 8 and a 9 on a Dutch whisper line. So this cannot be 4. That doesn't help us very much. Yeesh. Hmm. Okay. If the pinks are low, this has to be 1, 2. If the yellows are low here, it has to be 1, 2. This has to be 4. This is 1, 2, and this is 1, 2. So either way, 1 and 2 cannot be in the rest of column 3. So the rest of them have to be 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, but this can't be 9. This can't be 7. This one's a little different here. Hmm. That's the only one I think you can make an assumption on. Hmm. Hmm. If this is 9, this can never be 5. Because if this is 5, this would have to be 1. And therefore that wouldn't work. 2 does have to be one of these 3 digits. 2 can only be, well, 2 could be next to 6, 7, 8, and 9. If the 2 is here, that means both pinks have to be high because if it were low, it would both have to be 1 because the 2 is here. So if the 2 is here, these both have to be high, which means this is a 1, 2 pair. Again, this would have to be 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's 4. Hmm. If this is 6, this has to be 1 and 2 specifically. If this is not 6, that means this has to be 6. Okay, that's interesting. If this is 6, this has to be 1 and 2, which means 5 cannot be here, so 5 would have to be here. If this is 6, 5 has to be somewhere on this Dutch whisper line. So where would it be? Well, if it could only be next to a 9, So it's either here or here. If this is 5 and this is 9, this would have to be 1, but this could never be 2. So that would break where the 2 could be in box 5. If this is 5 and that's 9, this could be 1, and this is something else, and then that's 2. But then this would, okay, yeah, so this always has to alternate, right? And 5 splits up the alternation, right? If this is high, this is low. That's high, that's low, high, low, high, low, high. That works. But if you have a 5 here, it breaks it up. Therefore, this cannot be a 5. Okay, well, there you go. So if you try to have a 5 anywhere on this Dutch whisper line, it flips, essentially, what it, instead of being high, low, high, low, high, low, it would flip it so that it goes high, middle, low, and then those would be off sync here, right? So if we try to make, say we made this high, we made this low, this would have to be high. If we had a 5, okay, let's see what normally it would be. Low, high, low, high, low. So this fits naturally in the box, right? But if we add a 5, it switches it so that this is low, this is high, eventually, somewhere around here. This is low, this is high, and you would have a high next to a high. So that doesn't work. So 5 cannot be on the Dutch whisper lines. So it has to be here. So this is 5, which forces this to be 6, which forces this to be 1 and 2. This 1 and 2 forces this to be not 1 and 2. So the pinks are the highs, because this can't be 1 or 2 here. This has to be 7, 8, or 9. And the yellows must be... So this must be 8, because 4 cannot be next to 1 in a Dutch whisper line. So this is 4, this is 9. This can't be 2. This is 3 and 7, so this must be 3, this must be 7. So the yellows are all lows. So this is not 7, 8, 9. This is not 7, 8, 9. This is not 6, 8, 9. This is not 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, or 8. 6, 8, 9. This can't be 1 or 2, 1 or 2. This can't be 7, 8, or 9. This can't be 6, 7, 8. So we have 3 lows besides 3. So this must be a 4, which forces this to be 9 and forces that to be 9. This can no longer be 9. This can no longer be 9, so it's a 7. 7's only between 1 and 2 on a German whisper line. So this is 1, this is 2. This cannot be 1 or 2. This can't be 7. This can't be 7, so this must be 8, which makes this a 9. This 1 means this can't be 1, so this is 3. This can't be 4. This can't be 2 here, so this must be 1, which forces this to be 2, which forces that to be 1. This is next to a 3 or 4, cannot be 7, cannot be 9, therefore this is 8, which makes that a 7. This can't be 8 or 9, so this is 7. This is 3 or 4. This can no longer be 3 or 4, therefore this is 2, which is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 4, which makes that a 3. Okay, there we go. So this can't be 4 or 7 here. This can't be 9 or 4. This can't be 7. Wait. I put the wrong one. So this can't be 4 or 7. This can't be 4 or 9. So we have a 6, 8, 6, 8 pair here. What are the remaining digits in column 4? They have to be 5 and 3. This can't be 3, so this must be 5, which makes that a 3. Column 5 has to be 7 and 8. This can't be 7, so this is 8, which makes that a 7. This 8 means that can't be 8, so it's a 6, which makes that an 8. This must be a 5, and this must be a 1. This can't be 3 because of that 3, so this is 9, which makes that a 3. Remaining digits in column 7 are 4 and 6. This can't be 6 because of that 6, so this is a 4, which makes that a 6. This 1 means this can't be 1, so this is 8, which makes that a 1, which makes that an 8, which makes that a 1. Remaining digits here are 1 and 7, but this can't be 1 because of that 1, so this is... Wait. We have broken it again. Jeez, what are we breaking? Oh, wait, no, that's right. This cannot be 1 here, so this is 7, and this is 1. The remaining digits in row 9 are 2 and 9, so either of those can be the case. The remaining digits in row 7 are 6 and 8. This can't be 8 because of that 8, so this is 6, which makes that an 8. This is a 1. This can't be 5, so this has to be a 5 here. Remaining digits in column 1 are 3, 6, and 9. This can't be 9. This can't be 3 or 9, so this is 6. This can't be 9 or 6, so this is 3, which makes that a 9. The remaining digits in row 1 are 2, 3, and 4. Neither of these can be 3, so this must be a 3. This then has to be a 2, 4 pair. Remaining digit here is a 2. So this is a 5, 7 pair, but this can't be 7 because of that 7, so this is 5, which makes that a 7. Remaining digits in row 4 are 3, 4, and 8. This can't be 3 or 8, so this must be 4. This can't be 4 or 8, so this must be 3, which makes that an 8. This 4 means this is a 2, which makes that a 4. This 2 means this can't be 2, so this is 9, which makes that a 2. Column 2, the last remaining digits are 4 and 6. This can't be 4 because of that 4, so it's 6, which is 4. These two digits have to be 6 and 9. This can't be 9, so this is 6, this is 9, which leaves this as a 5 and that as a 1. Apologies, man, I made a lot of errors here. There is a 4 in the corner here. There's also a 4 in the corner here, technically, and a 4 in the corner there. But this is the 4 in the biggest corner, I guess. Anyways, apologies. I made a couple of mistakes there. My brain, I guess, wasn't working very well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.